I want to begin with the politics of the week, the race in New York City. Let's take a listen to what we got from our CBS New York reporter Ali Bauman, who spoke with Zohran Mamdani about what the Democratic Party should look like.
I think it should look like anyone who's focused on working people, because ultimately that was what made me proud to become a Democrat, and so many Americans feel the same way, and yet for quite a while have felt as that we've left our roots, we've left our focus, and it's time to come back to that and show that Donald Trump's attempts to speak for working people are just looking to exploit the despair that they are living through, not actually sincerely responding to it with any kind of proposal that would deliver them out of it.
This week, that's the face of the Democratic Party. That's the name associated with the Democratic Party. Catherine, how comfortable are people you talking to on the Hill or in Washington about that?
Well, Republicans are very comfortable with talking about this as the face of the Democratic Party. Democrats are mixed. I mean, certainly there are a lot of Democrats who are worried that this is going to push them too far to the left, that this is going to make harder for them to run nationally. But I do think also there's a lot of Democrats saying, look, we have not been succeeding in the they certainly didn't succeed in the last presidential cycle. And one of the complaints was a lack of a coherent economic message. And obviously, he ran in New York on a message that really landed. I mean,
about housing,
about bus fare, about childcare, about making life that people see increasingly as affordable again. And I think that is something that some Democrats are trying to figure out. How do you harness that piece of what happened in New York this week?
What do you make of it, Evan? It's your home area.
That's right. I mean, I live in New York, and we were watching this whole race play out over the past few months, and it's been quite an amazing story. Because on the one hand, what you have is really the maturation of this Bernie Sanders style of politics, okay? I mean, this was like very well done efforts that we have seen before from candidates like that AOC, Bernie Sanders, but also just a complete faceplant by the Democratic establishment. I mean, they put forward this Andrew Cuomo candidate who they kind of didn't want, but they didn't sort of say shouldn't do it. They didn't sort of get in the way of it. And a lot of voters were looking at an option that they really didn't want. And then somebody who was saying, hey, I got a lot of stuff that we could do that could be interesting and new. I'm exciting. And I don't think it's a huge surprise that they lost, that the establishment lost to that. And to me, the most interesting thing that's happened is that we haven't seen the Democratic establishment in mass sort of rally against this candidate. We have seen some people, some Democrats here and there pop up. But in general, this message of we're going to be really economic populist, we're going to really focus on these kind of issues, we have seen a lot of Democrats say, I think there might be something there for us. This might be something that we need to do and embrace. And after all of these years of this kind of conversation inside the Democratic Party, I think it's possible that that populist side is starting to win that conversation.
He's becoming a household name at a moment when there's other big things happening in the world. You've got what's going on at the Pentagon and also what's going on at the CDC. Alex, there was a vaccine panel vote today. What was it about and what do they do?
Yeah, that's right. You know, look, there's the vote itself and then there's the process around it. You know, the vote was on two things. One was pretty expected, actually, even in an alternate reality where there was a different vaccine panel that wasn't handpicked by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. They backed a new RSV shot. That's pretty routine. They backed the flu vaccines for this coming fall. That's also pretty routine. But there was one difference, which is they opposed the use of this vaccine preservative called thimerosal, which people might remember is closely linked not just to a bunch of debunked theories about vaccines causing autism, but also the group that Health Secretary Kennedy used to head, Children's Health Defense. You know, this meeting took place. That decision they made isn't going to make a huge difference for most people. Yeah, exactly. The flu vaccines, mostly in the United States, don't already use thimerosal. But the process by which they reached this decision, skipping all the career CDC officials, relying on one person who's the former head of Kennedy's group, Children's Health Defense, to reach that decision, you know, that has a lot of people concerned that this is in some ways a test run for what's to come in all the future meetings when they turn their decisions to other vaccines, not just flu, not just COVID, not just RSV.
It's still so striking. The confirmation hearings brought some of these issues up. And the people who confirmed Secretary Kennedy seem satisfied by the answers, and then you see some turnabout here. So the Senate has that other issue it's dealing with right now, this problem.
Which one's that again?
The parliamentarian throws this wrench in the system. Based on the people you're talking to, how likely is it they iron this out by July 4th?
I mean, they are trying really hard. Leaders are really trying to figure out a way to get this over the finish line because Donald Trump really wants it.
Through brute force?
I mean, I think there's two pieces to this, right? One is they are trying to figure out how to rewrite this in a way that passes muster and also keep all their folks in line. And you see Trump using a lot of brute force. He was at the White House today. He had an event, the big, beautiful bill, as they call it, event. And he is making very clear he wants no one to leave Washington. He wants them to figure this out. He wants the bill in his desk by July 4th, and they are not budging on that. And so I think, and we've seen him, previously be very personal, call lawmakers, reach out to people. He's going to bring people in, no doubt. So he is doing a lot of things himself as well to try and make this happen.
Evan, quickly, how much do you think Democrats are ready to mobilize against this politically?
Oh, they're very ready. I mean, the Medicaid cuts contained in this bill, Democrats think this is sort of a godsend to them as they have been sort of in the wilderness. They found something to run against. And this is a quite interesting moment, right? Because this is the true test of how powerful Trump is and how powerful this Republican Party is. Because, like, what's going to happen in the end here, there's going to be a bill that a lot of Republicans don't like. That is just the way this is going to go because they have narrow margins and they have to put this bill together. Now, in the House, Trump was able to make that happen. Just like, too bad. Bite the bullet, you're doing this. Can he do it again? We don't know, but we do know that is going to be how it ends. It's going to have to be someone saying to these Republicans, you have to do this, and we'll see if they'll do it or not.
I'm going to rock your world, everybody. Less than 500 days till the midterm elections. Man, time is all kinds of freaky right now. Catherine, Evan, Alex, thank you all very much. Good job.
Thanks.